Now, some persons say this is not important. Some universities even say you don't need to reach out to professors before you apply for a PhD program. But my experience have shown that the persons who get to talk with a potential supervisor before they apply in 10 applications, 4 or 5 of them would always get accepted into that program. And that's why I always would advocate that you send out a mail to a potential supervisor, to a PI, before you apply for a PhD program in any of the US universities. It is not a requirement, but it has proven to be a sure catalyst for the process. And so today I will be sharing with you what should be the content of a mail you are sending to a potential supervisor, to a principal investigator, to the leader of a research group before you send in your application. So, what should be the component? What should you do before you begin to send that mail? How long and how short should your mail be? And what time of the day should you send this mail? What attachment should be added to the mail you are sending to the PI, to the potential supervisor, uh, before you begin to apply to the PhD program in their department. So the first some of the prerequisites are one, before you reach out to a professor, you must have searched the professor. You've gotten his name, you've gotten the name of his or her group, and the kind of research work they do in that group. That's because in the course of your mail, you will be mentioning some of these things, some of um, the kind of research done in that group, the name of the professor's group, and of course, his actual name. You won't just be saying, "Dear sir." It will look like a generic mail. You must be addressing your mail to a particular person. Number two, before you send out this mail, you must have created an official email address. An official email address, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, company mail, should carry your name and your surname. For example, this is the mail address with which I sent out this mail. It is carrying Moses Udoisor, and it makes the recipient identify me as a person, not some kind of robot. Some of us send out mails, and the mail does not effectually communicates to the recipient that we are a person. You send a mail with addresses like Jesus Boy for at yahoo.com, Black Panther at, those are not human beings. Your mail address should communicate your person, and if you know how to do it, it is always advisable that you put on a an email signature. This here somewhere is what we call the email signature. An email signature should have your name, your research interest, your department, your institution, if you have it, your your phone number, and all of that. It is something you set up in Gmail. I don't know if it is there in Yahoo Mail, but in Gmail there is a space where you can set up your um, mail handle. These are some of the prerequisites before you settle down to begin to draft your cold mail. I call it cold mail because you are sending it to someone you don't have a prior conversation with. You don't have it. This person doesn't know you from Adam, and you're just getting out of the blue and sending out a mail. It is for this reason it is called cold mail. You're using it to fish for a position in the person's group, in the person's study group, research group, and all of that. So, how do you now write a professor for the first time? Your mail to the professor for the first time should have just four parts. What are these parts? One, it should have the title of the mail, it should have the complimentary salutation, the complimentary opening, it should have a body, it should have a complimentary close, just like we have here. The heading of the mail, the title of the mail, should effectively communicate what you are looking for with this person. Interest to join your research group, to join your group for PhD studies in photonics and optical communication should be very specific. Now, this would invite the person to want to open this mail or just hit on the delete button and send it to the trash bin. If you're unable to communicate properly with the title of your mail, that mail most likely would not be open or read by the intended recipient. So you want to ensure that the title of your mail is communicating, it is informative, it is fully packed, at one glance, one sentence, it passes the message of what you are writing. So next, you want to have a complimentary opening, and you want to say, "Dear Professor," this should be the person's surname, not the person's first name. And because you have done your homework, of course, you should know the person's surname, whether it's a professor, or a doctor, or whatever. You should know that via your research prior to this. So let's look at the body of that mail. What should constitute the body? I like to tell people to write in about 200 to 250 words. Max should be about 500 words so that you don't overlabor the recipient with having to read so much notes. In less than 200 words, you should be able to communicate exactly why you have sent out this first mail in four paragraphs. These paragraphs are paragraph one, where you discuss who are you, what do you seek. That's what paragraph one should say. Who are you? My name is Moses Udoy, sir. I'm a BS graduate of physics from the University of Port Harcourt with interest in photonics and optical communication. I am writing to express my interest in joining your group, mention the name of the group, and for PhD studies at the University of Santa Cruz. In that one paragraph, I have mentioned who I am, what I seek. That is what paragraph one should say. Who you are, what do you seek with this person you are sending a mail to? That should be effectively communicated in your first paragraph of your mail. In paragraph number two, you want to tell this person what you know about this research group you want to join. Yes, it's important that you are able to communicate that. What do you know about this? So in paragraph two, you want to effectively communicate that. So here's what you write, but you can just use it as a template. You can change the words. You could paraphrase what I've written here, but you should effectively say that. I have followed your research in optical communication systems and photonic devices, particularly your work on high capacity optical network using and find your trust riveting and innovating for quantum communication technologies. From the insights gathered from your work, I believe that the application of machine learning and deep learning techniques will open up new horizons of the possibilities in secured communication using photons. The possibility of contributing to this new horizon in your lab is what drives my interest, seeking your guidance and joining your group. Very pointed, very positional. You're not just saying, "Oh, I have read your work. This is what your work is about." You're not coming here to um, explain a person's work to him. He already knows, he or she already knows what he or she wrote in that research paper you look at. But you are bringing out new insight. "Oh, I have seen this about your work. I am thinking that if we apply this technique, this work would open up new environment." You want to paint the picture of the PI, the potential supervisor, seeing you as somebody who is knowledgeable, one. Two, somebody who can contribute to the work they do in their lab. not coming. Most of the cold mails I see, people spend this paragraph explaining the work to the professor. You don't need to explain the work. The person knows what he wrote. You, your business is to bring new insight into what he or she is currently doing in their lab or from what you have seen on their Google Scholar space and the rest of that. In paragraph 3, you want to write about your abilities. You know how to do research with computational tools, and in their lab they have been using experimental. You want to mention that, hey, I know how to do Python, I know how to use Avogadro, I know how to use Quantum Espresso, I know how to use Gaussian, I know how to use SBS, SPSS, I know how to use this, and I feel that my knowledge would contribute to what is done in this lab. So paragraph 3 is about you and what new perspective you bring, what you are capable of doing. So somewhere here, I said, I'm confident that my skills in numerical simulation, experimental design, and Python programming, and my passion for exploring novel photonic materials and devices will allow me to contribute meaningfully to your research group. That is very pointed. That shows that, hey, you are not just some another addition to the group. You're going to bring some valuable input. You're going to bring some competent know-how to what they do in that lab. Remember that you are applying for a PhD, and the PhDs are awarded to those who already have some foundation upon which the supervisor, the PI, would build upon. So paragraph 3 tells us what you bring to the table. And in paragraph 4, you mention some of the things you have attached, and you also mention your availability for a possible interview, a possible second meeting. You want to open up the floor. We call this part a call to action. We don't say, hey, I have attached my CV. Some of the things I cannot explain here. I think my CV says it more. I have attached my transcript so that you could see my GPA position. I've attached my research statement so that you could also check if the kind of research I am interested in is within what you do in your lab. Don't forget to always mention that you are available at any time to um, take up a meeting at any convenience of the PI. And of course, don't forget to thank them for their time. It is courtesy for you to say, oh, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for reading this piece. And I look forward to hearing from you. Once you're done with that and you're sure you have added your attachment, you can just click on enter or click on send, and the mail will be sent out. Now, don't forget that the recipient more often than not is in a different time zone. So I advise students to send this mail when the recipient will be in his or her morning. So you want to calculate the time difference. You want to send that mail so that the recipient takes the mail at about 8 a.m. at his time or at a time. You want to send that mail so that the person gets to see the mail first thing in the morning before he or she gets into the work of the day. So you don't want to send this mail on a weekend. You don't want to send it on a global public holiday. You don't want to send this mail in the night. You want to send this mail at about 6 a.m. Not your 6 a.m., mind you. Send it at the 6 a.m. of the recipient. So calculate the time difference and ensure that at the time you're clicking the send button, it is the morning of the recipient. If you do this, you're going to get some good replies. These replies are the first step towards finding a fully funded PhD programs in the US universities, and of course applicable to some universities in the UK and parts of Europe. Now go somewhere there and draft your mail. This is day 5. Keep following this channel. In day 6, we'll be sharing with you how to prepare your application documents.